Reverend Callie Walpole joined Grace Episcopal Church in 2009 as a vicar and sub-dean. In this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I sit down with Callie one-on-one. Reverend Callie, it is so good to see you.
It's good to see you, Quintin, always.
I appreciate this.
My pleasure.
Thank you. You know, you and I go back way back in the day to 2009.
We do.
You started here at Grace Episcopal Church as a vicar, and obviously you're a sub-dean. And I started going to Holy Communion on Wednesdays, which I still do. I went there a week ago. Take me back to 2009 and tell me, what is the biggest difference between then and right now as far as your job is concerned?
Well, in terms of my own position, I have the privilege of serving at Grace, which has now become the cathedral.
That's right.
It's the cathedral church of the Episcopal Church in South Carolina. And so I serve there, and our dean is the very Reverend Michael Wright. And so it's a pleasure to serve in such a vibrant parish church and now cathedral.
Yes, indeed. And a tradition that everybody loves around here is the Grace Tea Room.
Yes.
Describe the Grace Tea Room in your mind to me.
The Grace Tea Room is it's a delightful excursion. It's a delightful experience to go into our tea room and partake of such wonderful low country dishes as okra soup, Huguenot torte,
Right.
she crab soup,
Oh, yeah.
and all the proceeds go to charity, and not just any charity, they're local charities. So all the money stays in the community.
Right. Speaking of the community, let me take you down the street to Mother Emanuel. Coming up on Saturday will be the 2-year anniversary, 2 years of this tragedy. I remember when I was sitting on the bed reading tweets on my phone, and I read a tweet from Rob Frow at Channel 2, and he basically said that, hey, there's a mass casualty going on at Mother Emanuel. And obviously we heard the devastating news that trickled throughout the night.
Yeah.
When you go back to June 17, 2015, what memories still play in your mind that night and the days thereafter?
I think we all share that memory, don't we? All those of us who were here and who remember that horrific event. I suppose my first memory, my first feeling was one of shock, I'm sure as was the feeling of many.
Right.
So shock, disbelief,
Right.
and all the emotions that then began to follow in the hours and days to come as we learned more.
I was afraid to leave the house the day after that, but obviously they caught the suspect thereafter. I know you didn't have a personal relationship with Reverend Clemente Pinckney at the time,
No.
but talk to me about your relationship with Mother Emanuel right now.
Well, one of the members of Mother Emanuel participates in a Tuesday afternoon book study.
Right.
That a number of us are a part of.
Yes.
A number of members of Grace, and also Mount Zion AME on Glebe Street, and they're our next door neighbors. And so Mrs. Liz Alston,
That's right.
A local celebrity really, and longtime community leader,
Right.
is a part of that book study, as well as a couple of others from Peninsula AME churches, and some other Episcopal churches on the peninsula as well. So it's a growing group. A growing ecumenical group.
You talk about growing. How do you want to grow this particular program?
Well, I believe in the Holy Spirit, and I believe that oftentimes we're along for the ride, and if we're obedient and we allow for evolution, we allow for things to grow organically. You remember in St. Mark's Gospel.
Right.
Jesus talks about the seed that's planted that grows in secret, and it grows. The Greek word is the word used from which we get our word automatically.
Right.
And so seeds are planted, and any farmer knows that the work that we do, the seeds that we plant, while we may pour our very soul into that work, it's God that gives the growth and brings forth the harvest. And so our calling is not to not to control outcomes, but to be obedient in the process and see where the Spirit takes us. But I think first, that's a long answer.
No.
But first and foremost, we're looking to set the stage for the creation and fostering of relationships. That's really what it's all about in the community.
Absolutely. And talk to me about the future of Grace, because obviously you said the Holy Spirit guides you, and it guides all of us.
Yes.
So where do you want the Holy Spirit to guide Grace next?
I think that Grace has always been a central city church in the center of the city of Charleston, and now it's a cathedral. It's growing into a new role, and our dean Michael Wright talks about this. That it plays a civic role as well, and I think one of the gifts of Grace is the gift of hospitality.
Yes.
And whether it's hosting studies or hosting events or hosting okra soup suppers, that's yet another event, or being the center for the tea room that happens during Spillata. One of Grace's gifts is hospitality, and I'm sure that gift will continue to grow and be expressed.
And I failed to mention this in the beginning, but obviously you came from the Grand Strand before you came to Grace in 2009. Talk to me about not Reverend Callie Walpole, but Callie Walpole the person.
Okay, well, I began my ordained ministry on the Waccamaw at a place called Holy Cross Faith Memorial Episcopal Church in Pawleys Island.
Yes.
Those were 3.5 wonderful years of learning how to be a priest, which is something I'm still learning how to do.
Oh.
But before that, I'm from Johns Island originally. So it was wonderful to be able to come back to Charleston and to a place like Grace where I was home but not home. A new congregation certainly, and to be able to serve on staff with such fine leadership that's there.
Yes. Well, I've known you since 2009. Like I said before, I want to personally thank you for what you've done for me and my family. I've been through a couple of sickness recently, so you gave me some healing for my teeth especially. Mm-hmm. And I want to thank you for, praying for my mom who had breast cancer back in 2009. She's healed now to the grace of God, so I want to thank you personally for what you've done for me and my family. I appreciate that.
Well, it's a pleasure, and Quintin, we're all in this together.
Yes.
And so I think that's what ministry is, and that's the work I see you doing.
Yes.
in your very valuable ministry.
Yes.
In which I see how hard you work, and I know how industrious you are, and I also know that it's a calling.
Yeah.
And that you're compelled to do the work that you do.
I love doing this as well.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, Reverend Callie Walpole, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this.
It's my pleasure. Anytime.
Thank you. Thank you.